Hello and welcome to episode 102 of my Working with Todoist series. And in this week's episode, I want to show you something I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, related to working on what I call the big three things. Now, what I mean by this is it's those things that are hanging around in your mind, could even be hanging around in your Todoist somewhere, that you know deep down you must do something about, but maybe because of a fear of actually doing it, because it's an unpleasant task, like saying no to somebody, or maybe on an extreme case, breaking up with your boyfriend or breaking up with your girlfriend. It could also be, as in my case, I've found over the last 2 or 3 months that I've not really been as focused on my exercise goals as I should be. So I can include it into these big three things to force myself to focus on what is important. So you could use this strategy for a number of things, but essentially you don't want to include more than 3 things in this particular project, but it's something that's going to focus your mind every single day on the 3 top priorities for the week. Now, we normally work on a to-do list, and he's normally working on a day-to-day basis, but there are some things that just need that little extra focus for more than just a day. So what I want to do today is to show you how I've set this up. Of course, you may have a better way of doing this, but for me, I think for the way I work, certainly this is working really, really well. I've been experimenting with it this week. It's been fantastic for keeping my mind focused on the things that might not necessarily be pleasant, but nonetheless still need doing. So today I'm going to show you how to do this. I call it the Big Three project, and in Todoist I'll show you how it works. So let's go into Todoist right now and let's have a look. Okay, so here we are inside the project that I've set up. Now, what I've called it is the Big Three, but I realize that I don't really like this title in the format that it is, so I'm going to edit the name. I'm still going to call it the Big Three, but I'm going to capitalize it because it'll just stand out that little bit more. You could, of course, add a emoji if you wanted, but I like that, just the Big Three. Now, what I've done is, if you've been following my system, then you will have already a parent project called Goals. Well, I've put it at the top of the Big Three. Now, essentially what you need to do is you need to actually create a parent task. So what I mean by that is we're going to call this, again, I'm going to highlight this one. So we're going to put the double exclamation mark and the Big Three. So this is now highlighted. Now the key here is do not, now normally when I suggest that you create a parent task, I suggest that you actually put the asterisk at the start. And by the way, I should actually point this out. There is another way. I always say that you should actually put an asterisk at the start, a star sign, which will then create a non-completable task. However, as has been pointed out to me, and I missed it, and I don't know how I missed it, if you actually put a colon, it actually achieves the same thing. So entirely up to you. I think the colon is obviously the easier way to do it, but there we go. Right, so now we've created it, but the key in this one is do not create a non-completable task. You'll see why in a moment. Okay, so now we've got the Big Three. What you want to do is command forward arrow to create the child task. So for me, next week is exercise every day. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say exercise today. I want this to be a, so exercise today. I want to actually create this as a task that I'm going to do, because what I want to do is focus on my task. Now, the thing is, don't put a date in this one. either. We'll come back to the dates in a moment. So I'm going to add that task. I'm going to add a second task, which is tell students I am not. This is not true, but so if any of my students are watching this, this is not true on Friday. So there's another one. I haven't really thought about this. I would do this on Sunday, and I'm recording this on a different day. And then let's say sort out problem with colleague. It could be anything. Now the key here is the tasks that you go in here are the ones that you really, really, really need to sort out, but for whatever reason, you're just delaying it. You're putting it off. Now, this idea, I think, came about a combination of many things, but probably what really sparked it was when I saw Tony Robbins' massive action plan. It's part of his planning process, but massive action will result in massive results. And I really like that idea. So let's say these are the three that you have. Obviously you're going to have three things that are really bothering you. So the key now is the date. Now you date the parent task. So you call this every day, and I'm going to put in a time. Now I don't normally put times in, but what I want is I want this at the top of my today list. So every day at, and I'm going to put 0001. Now you could put, I think you can put 00. So this is going to come up tomorrow at 0001. So if we go into the next 7 days, you will see that this now is at the top of my list. So it's coming up at the top of my list, and all I need to do then is when I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is click on the down arrow and I see the things that I want to complete. When they're completed, I can tick them off. So the beauty of it is when you come to do your daily review, you will be able to see what which ones of the tasks that you've actually completed. Once you've completed the first task, you'll find that there is a huge incentive for you to actually carry on to do the next set of tasks. Now, of course, if you don't complete a task in 1 week, then it will carry forward to the next week, or you're just going to drop it and forget it. But this is a brilliant way of really focusing your mind on the big three things that you want to focus on that week. Now, I don't recommend you go beyond 3 because then it just becomes another to-do list. You may as well just keep them in your today view. But try and find every week 3 things that you really want to focus on during the next week. Now, as I say, I do this on a Sunday and I have this coming up every day at 001. So that means it's going to be the first task in my list every single day. Now, one of the things is I was never sure about this. I've been using 001. I think it'll actually work with 00. Let's just go into there and have a look next 7 days. I'm pretty sure this is going to work in exactly the same way. Whoops, next 7 days. Yeah, it does. It works in exactly the same way if you put 000. So entirely up to you. Once you've ticked it off, it's going to come back. So let's say tick off that. It's going to come back on the next day, Monday 000. So this is why I put in the date, simply because what I want, the time, I want this to come up and I want it to be on top of my list at the first thing of every day. Now, it's entirely up to you if you want to just remove it from your list for that day when you check it, or you can just leave it there all day. It's entirely up to you. But do check it off every day so that it's not going to start showing as overdue. And what it's designed to do is to focus your mind on the 3 big things you want to achieve for the following week or for that particular week. Okay, I hope you found this particularly useful. I hope you can find a way of using this within your productivity system. Feel free to leave any comment below if you have any other suggestions of managing the big things that you want to achieve. And apart from that, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. This week we went over 5,000 subscribers. It's just amazing how we're growing, and I really want to grow this community and grow this channel so I can help many, many more people to become much more productive. Okay, thank you very much for watching today. Have a great productive week, and I will see you in the next episode.